Hello, everyone, and welcome to the official Lost audio podcast hosted by ABC.com. Well, we're back this week for a special podcast. Unfortunately, executive producers Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse could not join us because they're cutting the 3-hour season finale. Of course, Part 1 airs this Thursday. I'll plug that right now. There's No Place Like Home. Part 1 of 3 on Thursday, May 15th at 10:02 p.m. on ABC and available the next day at abc.com. So, in lieu of that, we decided to bring you a special exclusive interview today with actress Rebecca Mader, who plays Charlotte. Now, just a quick word here before we cut over to her. My audio sounds, well, really bad. That aside, here's Rebecca Mader. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the official Lost audio podcast. I'm here today, and I'm sounding like I'm talking from the bottom of a well, but that's okay because the person we have on the phone with us today sounds quite lovely, and that is, of course, actress Rebecca Mader, who plays Charlotte. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So, first question for you. You have a lovely accent.
Thank you.
I understand, though, that when you first auditioned for this role, the character of Charlotte was supposed to be an American.
Yes.
So, how did that come about? Did you just blow them away with your accent, or?
I think so. I think my accent just knocked their socks off completely. Well, I know I was the only English person auditioning for the part, and I knew there was a bunch of people up for the part. So, and I really wanted it, so I thought to myself, this has got to help me stand out, surely. So when I went in and I met with Damon and Carlton, you know, I said to them, I can do it American if you want, but can we try English as well? So I think if I remember correctly, I did do it American and English when I met with them, and then I think they just liked me better English, so I was like, oh, thank God.
Just a quick question on the side here. How difficult is it to do an American accent without your British accent? Is that something that's just insanely difficult or very easy for you?
It's quite easy for me, actually. I mean, I've always been able to do accents ever since I was little. I've always, mimicked people, and yeah, I can turn it off and on really, really quickly. If I'm doing a job where I'm playing an American, I don't have to speak in an American accent all day. Like, the minute they say cut, I'm like, I want a cup of tea. Like, I can just switch it off just like that.
How much of a fan of Lost were you before coming on the show?
I really wasn't. I hate to admit it, but I wasn't. But I am now. I had seen the pilot back in 2004, and I had seen a couple, and then I'd been traveling, and I'd missed some, and I didn't want to ruin it because everyone kept saying you've got to see everything. So I was like, all right, I'll get the DVDs eventually, and then I just never got around to it. So cut to, 3 years later, I get the audition. I'm like, oh, my God, I knew I should have watched the DVDs. So after I met with Damon and Carlton, I went out and I went and bought season 1 and 2. This is before 3 came out. I went and bought 1 and 2 and started watching them before I even got the job.
How hooked to Lost were you when you started watching it? Did you find it immediately intriguing, or what was your first impression?
Yeah, I was just like, where have I been for the past 3 years, and what is wrong with me that I have not been watching this program? I mean, I couldn't believe it. I felt like I'd been living under a rock. I mean, it was just absolutely mind-blowing, and my friend at the time, I kept calling her up because I had to talk about it, and she was like, I told you! I'm like, oh my God, this is so good.
Now, how much do you know about your character? Of course, your character is named after, is a reference in and of itself, C.S. Lewis.
Yes.
So how much do you know about Charlotte?
Not a lot.
Well, I understand that there is definitely more to your character. Can you tell us, are we going to learn more about your character in the upcoming, we only have 3 hours left, but in the season finale, are we going to learn a little bit more?
Yes, a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. Enough to just be very, very, very intriguing. When I read that, I was like, oh, yeah. I've got a couple of good moments in the season finale that I was very excited about when I read the script.
What's been the best part about being part of this show thus far?
God, there's a list, and I know that sounds really cheesy, but I could write a book about the best reasons to be on Lost. I mean, first of all, the writing is ridiculous. It's so good. I kind of like not knowing who I am and having to kind of wing it. I mean, that's really, really scary and liberating and exciting all at once. The people on the show are amazing. The crew are wicked. The cast members are just really, really lovely. And it's nice for me to play this character. And it's nice to not have to do hair and makeup every day, and I get to wear jeans and boots and roll around in the mud. I mean, as a girl, it's really freeing,
Right, rolling around. You did mention you were a bit of a tomboy growing up, I guess.
Yeah, I wasn't a girly girl. I wasn't into, like, makeup and, things like that. I only really got into that later in life.
The other really interesting thing that I find is just your character's relationship with Faraday. How would you describe that relationship?
I think it's quite sweet, actually. I feel like as time goes on, we learn a little bit more and we see a little bit more between them. And I like the relationship personally between us because I feel like it's the only time, or one of the few times, where the audience get to see a softer side of Charlotte, where she isn't just too sinister all the time. Like you can see that she actually does have a heart, and she does obviously have some sort of affection for this man, I don't know what their past relationship is yet, but...
You don't think she's manipulating him? It seems a little sinister, to me at least.
I don't know. Maybe she is. I don't know what she's going to do to him in the future.
Well, final question before we let you go. What hidden talents do you have as Rebecca? Like, are you double jointed? What's the strangest talent that you have that we don't know about?
I'm not double jointed. I'm very flexible. When I was little, I never learned how to crawl. I only shuffled, where I had like my feet together and my knees sort of turned out and I just scooted around. So my legs and my hips are ridiculously bendy and can fly all over the shop.
So maybe eventually we'll see Charlotte doing the splits or some other crazy acrobatic thing.
I did do that at work a couple of weeks ago. We were in the kitchen on the beach and I was bored, and then I started to slip and I just went with it and I just went into the full splits, and everyone was like, oh my God, who are you and why are you here?
Like, another thing you don't know about Charlotte. Well, that's a great secret. Thank you for joining us on the podcast, Rebecca Mader.
Thank you very much.
That's it for the official Lost Audio podcast. Join us again next week when we recap There's No Place Like Home Part 1 of 3 with executive producers Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse. Again, that episode airs Thursday, May 15th at 10:02 p.m. on ABC and is available the next day at abc.com.